Michael Jordan built his legendary status not just through basketball greatness, but through unwavering integrity. So when news breaks that his name has been used to scam thousands of people in a fake charity scheme, the world watches closely. With millions stolen and his reputation on the line, Jordan could easily hide behind lawyers and PR teams. Instead, he does something unexpected. He personally hunts down those responsible, determined to make things right for every person who trusted his name. What he discovers isn't just a simple fraud, but a web of betrayal from people he once trusted, all stemming from a decades-old lie. As the scandal threatens to destroy everything he's built, Jordan faces a choice that will define his legacy beyond the basketball court. His response will leave even his harshest critics speechless. Michael Jordan leaned back in his leather chair, looking out the wide windows of his office at the Charlotte Hornets headquarters. Rain tapped against the glass, matching the steady beat of his fingers on the polished desk. At 62, his frame was still powerful, his presence still commanding. The basketball legend had traded his Bulls jersey for business suits years ago, but the competitive fire had never left his eyes. His phone buzzed. Michael glanced down and saw Scottie Pippen's name on the screen. His old teammate rarely called. During business hours. "Scottie," Michael answered, his deep voice filling the quiet room. "What's up?" "Mike, have you seen the news?" Scottie's voice sounded tense. "Your name is all over it, man. And not in a good way." Michael frowned, reaching for his tablet. "What are you talking about?" "Turn on any news channel, or check your phone. It's everywhere." Michael pulled up a news site, and his stomach dropped. There it was, splashed across the screen in bold letters. Michael Jordan's name used in massive Chicago charity scam. "What the?" Michael's words caught in his throat as he scanned the article. According to the report, a charity called Jordan's Kids First had collected millions of dollars over the past year, claiming to build a children's hospital in Chicago's Tianti's South Side. The charity had used Michael's name and image in all its materials, suggesting he was the main supporter and founder. But there was no hospital, no construction, no real charity, just a massive fraud that had now been uncovered. "I've never heard of this charity," Michael said, his voice rising. "Never gave them permission to use my name. Nothing." "I know that," Scottie replied, "but people are asking questions. They're wondering if you knew about it." Michael stood up, unable to sit still. "How much money are we talking about?" "Reports say over $4 million from more than 10,000 donors. 10,000 people who thought they were helping sick kids. 10,000 people who trusted his name. I need to call Denise," Michael said, referring to his lawyer. "Already tried reaching out to her," Scottie said. "She's trying to get all the facts before calling you." As if on cue, his other phone line lit up. Denise Wong, his attorney of 15 years. "Scottie, I gotta go. Denise is calling. I'll call you back." Michael switched lines. "Denise, what's happening?" "I wish I was calling with better news," she said, her normally calm voice tight with concern. "The FBI is investigating a charity scam. Someone's been using your name to collect donations for a children's hospital that doesn't exist. I saw the headlines. How bad is this?" Denise took a breath. "It's complicated. You had nothing to do with it, but people might think I did," Michael finished. "Yes, the charity materials used your name, your image, even quotes, supposedly, from you. They had a professional website, social media accounts, everything. They claimed you were giving matching donations for every dollar raised." Michael's jaw tightened. "Who's behind this?" "The FBI has identified the main suspect as someone named Ray Thompson. He apparently worked for a legitimate Chicago charity, where you once made donations." That might be how he got the idea to use your name. Michael paced the length of his office, his mind racing. What do we need to do? We're preparing a statement, making it clear you had no knowledge or involvement. We'll cooperate fully with the investigation. But Michael, Denise paused, this will get messy. People trusted this charity because of your name. They'll be angry. At me, Michael said quietly. Some will understand you're a victim too. Others will want someone to blame. His assistant Marcus knocked on the door, looking worried. Sir, there are reporters gathering downstairs. They're asking for a statement. Michael nodded. Tell them we'll have something soon. After Marcus left, Michael turned back to the phone. Denise, I want to do more than just deny involvement. I want to find out who did this. Michael, let the FBI handle. My name is on this, he interrupted, his voice firm. People gave their hard-earned money because they trusted me. I need to make this right. Denise sighed. I understand. But please, don't do anything without talking to me first. After ending the call, Michael turned on the office TV. Every news channel was covering the story. Some reporters were asking the right questions, how someone could have pulled off such a scam. Others were already suggesting Michael might have known about it. One commentator was wondering why the basketball legend hadn't made a statement yet. His phone buzzed again with texts and calls from friends, family members, business partners. Everyone had seen the news. Michael walked to the window and looked out at the city of Charlotte spread below. Rain streaked the glass, blurring the lights of the city. Throughout his career, he had faced countless challenges, both on and off the court. He had overcome every one of them through hard work, determination, and an unbreakable will to win. This was different. This wasn't about scoring points or winning championships. This was about his name, the name his parents had given him, the name he had made famous, the name he had worked his entire life to associate with excellence and integrity. Someone had stolen that name, used it to trick good people. And Michael Jordan wasn't going to let them get away with it. He turned from the window, his decision made. He would find out who was behind this, no matter what it took. He would make it right for all the people who had been cheated. Marcus, he called, opening his office door, book me on the next flight to Chicago. And call Agent Sarah Nichols at the FBI. Tell her I want to meet as soon as I get there. His assistant nodded, already reaching for the phone. Michael returned to his desk and looked at the charity's fake website, still open on his tablet. The scammers had used an old photo of him visiting a children's hospital, smiling with a young patient. Below it was a fake quote. Nothing matters more to me than helping these kids. The worst part was that sentiment was true. He did care about helping children. He had donated millions to real charities over the years. And now his reputation, everything he had built, was at risk. Michael Jordan had never backed down from a challenge in his life. He wasn't about to start now. The private jet touched down at O'Hare International Airport just after 7 p.m. Chicago's famous skyline glowed in the distance as Michael Jordan and his assistant Marcus Allen stepped onto the tarmac. A cold wind blew across the runway, carrying the familiar scent of the city where Michael had become a legend. "Car's waiting, sir," Marcus said, holding up his phone. "I've arranged for us to check in at the peninsula under different names. The press won't find you there." Michael nodded. Good thinking. As they drove into the city, Michael stared out the window at the streets of Chicago. This had been his kingdom once. The place where millions had chanted his name. Now someone had used that same name to trick people. The newspaper on the seat beside him carried the headline, Jordan charity scandal grows. FBI investigating. Michael pushed it aside. Agent Nichols confirmed she'll meet us at the hotel in an hour, Marcus said, checking his messages. She's bringing what they have so far on this Thompson guy. The Peninsula Hotel staff were professional and discreet, checking them in quickly under the fake names Marcus had arranged. Once they reached the suite, Michael loosened his tie and paced the room, too restless to sit. "What do we know about Ray Thompson?" he asked. Marcus consulted his tablet. "Not much. 48 years old. Worked for the Chicago Children's Foundation. From 2018 to 2022. That's where you made that big donation for their new wing." "I remember," Michael said. "But I don't remember meeting him." "You probably didn't. He was mid-level management, nothing special. Left there and dropped off the radar until this Jordan's Kids First charity started up last year. A knock at the door announced the arrival of FBI agent Sarah Nichols. She was tall, with short, dark hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. She shook Michael's hand firmly. "Mr. Jordan, I appreciate you coming to Chicago so quickly." "This is my problem to fix," Michael said simply. "What can you tell me?" Agent Nichols opened her laptop on the coffee table. "Raymond Thompson is smart. He used your connection to Chicago and your history of charity work to make this scam believable. He built a perfect fake charity that looked legitimate in every way." She turned the screen toward Michael. "This is the website they created. Professional, detailed, emotional. Stories about sick kids who would be helped by the new hospital. Your quotes and photos everywhere." Michael scrolled through the site, feeling sick. None of this is real? None of it. No hospital plans, no construction, no real staff. Just Thompson and a few others collecting money. "How did they get away with it for so long?" Marcus asked. Agent Nichols sighed. "They were careful. They registered as a real nonprofit, filed the right paperwork, made everything look legitimate. They even had small local events with actors, playing grateful families. They showed fake blueprints for the hospital. Thompson even hired a PR firm to create social media buzz." She clicked to another screen. "They used these materials at fundraising events." Michael saw glossy brochures with his photo and the fake hospital. Everything looked real and professional. "People trusted it because your name was on it," Agent Nichols said quietly. "Thompson knew your reputation would overcome any doubts." "Where is Thompson now?" Michael asked, his jaw tight. "That's our problem. He disappeared 3 days ago, right before the story broke. We tracked him to O'Hare Airport, but lost him after that. We think he may have left the country." "And the money?" Agent Nichols shook her head. "Most of it is gone. Transferred to offshore accounts we're still trying to trace. About $4.3 million in total." Michael stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the Chicago skyline. "All these people gave their money thinking they were helping sick kids, and thinking I was involved." He turned back to Agent Nichols. "I want to help find him. Mr. Jordan, I understand how you feel, but this is an FBI investigation. The best thing you can do is—" "The best thing I can do," Michael interrupted, "is find this guy and get that money back. This isn't just about me. It's about all those people who got cheated using my name." Agent Nichols studied him for a moment. "Legally, I can't involve you in our investigation, but I can keep you informed of our progress." She handed him her card. "If you learn anything that might help us, call me directly." After Agent Nichols left, Marcus looked at Michael. "What's our next move?" "We need more information," Michael said. "Let's find out everything we can about Thompson. Where he worked, where he lived, who his friends were. I can pull public records, Marcus offered. Social media, employment history, that kind of thing. Do it, and see if you can find anyone who worked with him at the Chicago Children's Foundation. Someone there must remember him. Michael's phone buzzed. It was Jamal Winters, his publicist. Michael, the press is going crazy with this story, Jamal said without preamble. We need to get ahead of it. I'm drafting a statement denying any involvement and expressing your shock and concern. Make it strong, Michael said. I want everyone to know I had nothing to do with this scam, and I'm working to make it right. Will do. Should we mention you're in Chicago? Michael thought for a moment. No. The less people know about my movements, the better. I need space to work on this. After ending the call, Michael took off his suit jacket and rolled up his sleeves. Marcus, order us some food. It's going to be a long night. While they waited for dinner, Michael studied everything they had on Thompson. The man was a ghost. Few social media accounts. No family listed. Nothing that would help them track him down. Sir, Marcus called from across the room. I think I found something. He showed Michael his tablet. Thompson's last credit card transaction before he disappeared. A purchase at Overseas Electronics on North Clark Street. He bought 3 burner phones and a laptop. He was planning to run, Michael said. He knew the scam was about to be discovered. There's more, Marcus continued. He made a call to Puerto Rico the day before he disappeared. It lasted 12 minutes. Michael looked up sharply. Puerto Rico? Can we find out who he called? Working on it. But it's a lead. For the first time since learning about the scandal, Michael felt a flicker of hope. Thompson might be smart, but he had made mistakes. And Michael Jordan had built his career on exploiting his opponent's mistakes. Keep digging, he told Marcus. Everyone leaves traces. We just need to find them. Late that night, as Marcus finally went to bed, Michael stood at the window of their hotel suite. Chicago spread out before him, the city where he had become the greatest basketball player in history. He had faced countless challengers on the court and beaten them all. This was a different kind of challenge, but the stakes were just as high. His name, his legacy was on the line, and somewhere out there was the man who had stolen it. Michael woke early the next morning, his body still on its strict schedule even after all these years away from the game. He ordered coffee from room service and turned on the TV while Marcus slept in the adjoining room. Every news channel was covering the scandal. On CNN, a reporter stood outside the Chicago Children's Hospital. The fake charity claimed they would build a new wing right here, the reporter said. Parents of sick children were among those who donated, believing basketball legend Michael Jordan was backing the project. Michael changed the channel. ESPN was running a special report. This is unprecedented, a commentator was saying. Jordan's name has always been golden. The question now is, did he know about this charity, or was his name used without permission? Another sports analyst jumped in. Either way, it's a failure of oversight. When you're a global brand like Jordan, you have to protect your name. Michael's jaw tightened. A failure of oversight? He had an entire legal team watching for unauthorized uses of his name and image. But this scam had been sophisticated enough to slip through. He flipped to Fox News. Their headline read, Jordan Charity Scandal. Where was the oversight? This is getting worse, Marcus said, entering the room in his hotel bathrobe. He had his phone in his hand. Social media is blowing up. Some people are defending you, but others are asking why you haven't made a statement yet. Michael grabbed his own phone and called Jamal Winters. I need to make a statement, he said when his publicist answered. Today, right now. No, Jamal said firmly. Not until we know more. Right now, anything you say will just feed the story. Trust me on this, Michael. Let me handle the press. Michael paced the hotel room. People are questioning my character on national TV. I can't just stay silent. That's exactly what you need to do, Jamal insisted. Make a statement now, and tomorrow they'll find some new angle to question. We need to let the FBI make progress on finding Thompson. Then we make one strong statement with all the facts. Michael didn't like it, but he knew Jamal was right. His publicist had guided him through media challenges before. Still, it felt wrong to say nothing while his reputation was being attacked. His phone buzzed with another call. It was his son, Jeffrey. "Dad, are you okay? We're all worried about you." Michael softened his voice. "I'm fine, Jeff. Just working to clear this up. The kids are seeing stuff about it at school. Everyone's talking about it." Michael closed his eyes, feeling a stab of pain. His grandchildren shouldn't have to deal with this. "Tell them not to worry," he said. "Your old man didn't do anything wrong, and I'm going to prove it." After hanging up, Michael sat alone on the edge of the bed. The weight of his famous name had never felt so heavy. Throughout his career, being Michael Jordan had opened doors, created opportunities, brought him fortune and fame. Now it felt like a target on his back. The hotel phone rang. It was the front desk. "Mr. Robertson," the clerk said, using Michael's fake name. "There are several reporters in the lobby asking for you. Someone may have leaked your location." "Thanks for the heads up," Michael replied. "Don't confirm I'm here." He turned to Marcus. "We need to move. The press found us." Marcus nodded, already packing his bag. "I'll arrange for a car at the service entrance." Within 20 minutes, they were in a new SUV with tinted windows, driving north on Lakeshore Drive. "Where to?" Marcus asked. Michael thought for a moment. "Let's go somewhere they won't expect. My old neighborhood." The driver took them to the north side, where Michael had lived during his Bulls years. The area had changed, but some things remained the same. They found a small hotel that catered to business travelers, not the type of place anyone would expect to find Michael Jordan. In their new room, Marcus set up his laptop. "I've been running background checks on Thompson. The guy's been careful, but I found something interesting." He showed Michael the screen. Thompson made several large payments to someone named Carlton Reed over the past year. Michael frowned. "That name sounds familiar." "It should," Marcus said. "I checked our records. Carlton Reed worked for your foundation 10 years ago. He was a project manager for about 3 years." Michael remembered now. Carlton had been efficient, dedicated. Nothing spectacular, but solid. He'd left to take another job somewhere. "He would know how I run my charity work," Michael said slowly. "He could have helped Thompson make the fake charity seem legitimate." "That's what I'm thinking," Marcus agreed. "And here's the interesting part. Reed is still in Chicago. He has an apartment in Lincoln Park." For the first time in days, Michael smiled. "Then I think it's time we paid him a visit. I'll let Agent Nichols know," Marcus said, reaching for his phone. Michael shook his head. "Not yet. Let's see what Reed has to say first. If we bring in the FBI too soon, he might lawyer up and stop talking." Outside their hotel, news vans cruised the streets, searching for the elusive basketball legend. Reporters speculated about Michael's silence. Critics questioned his integrity. But Michael Jordan wasn't listening anymore. He had a lead. He had a plan. And Carlton Reed had some explaining to do. The next morning, Michael's phone buzzed with an email notification. The sender wasn't familiar. Lisa.chenegmail.com. The subject line read, "I worked for Jordan's Kids First. I can help." This could be a trap, Michael told Marcus, showing him the email. Someone trying to get information or a picture they can sell to the press. Marcus nodded. Probably. But what if it's real? Let me read it. The email was brief. Mr. Jordan, my name is Lisa Chen. I worked as an accountant for Jordan's Kids First for 6 months, until 2 weeks ago. I didn't know it was a fake charity at first. When I figured out what was happening, I collected evidence. Ray Thompson threatened me when I confronted him. I'm scared, but I want to help make this right. I can meet you somewhere public if you want to talk. Lisa. Could be legitimate, Marcus said, considering. Or it could be a reporter trying to get close to you. Michael read the email again. Something about it felt genuine. The simple language, the lack of dramatic claims. Let's check her out, Michael decided. See if there's a Lisa Chen who matches this description. Marcus went to work, fingers flying over his laptop keyboard. Within 20 minutes, he had results. Lisa Chen, 32, CPA, lives in Evanston. She did work for a few legitimate charities before this. No red flags in her background. Seems like a regular person. Can you find a picture? Marcus pulled up her LinkedIn profile. The woman had a kind face, dark hair, and glasses. So she could be telling the truth, Michael said. But we still need to be careful. He composed a reply asking Lisa to meet them at the Chicago History Museum at 2 p.m. It was public enough to be safe, but not so crowded they couldn't talk. I'm going with you, Marcus insisted. Wouldn't have it any other way, Michael replied. They arrived at the museum early, scanning the visitors for potential trouble. The museum was busy but not packed. Michael wore a baseball cap and sunglasses, keeping his head down. There she is, Marcus whispered, nodding toward a bench near the Chicago sports exhibit. Lisa Chen sat alone, clutching a purse to her chest. She looked nervous, her eyes darting around the room. Michael noted the irony. She was sitting directly beneath a display case that held one of his Bulls jerseys. Michael approached slowly, waiting until she noticed him. Her eyes widened in recognition. Mr. Jordan, she whispered, standing quickly. Thank you for coming. Let's sit somewhere we can talk, Michael said quietly. They found a quiet corner near an exhibit about the Great Chicago Fire. Marcus stood nearby, watching for anyone who might be following them. How do I know you're really Lisa Chen who worked for this fake charity? Michael asked directly. She pulled out her wallet and showed him her driver's license. Then she produced a business card for Jordan's Kids First with her name and financial officer printed under it. I can prove I worked there, she said, her voice trembling slightly. I have pay stubs, emails from Ray Thompson. I didn't know it was fake at first, I swear. It seemed like a real charity. When did you figure it out? Michael asked. Lisa looked down at her hands. About 2 months ago. I noticed discrepancies in the accounts. Money going places it shouldn't. Big withdrawals with no explanation. When I asked Ray about it, he gave me answers that didn't make sense. She looked up, her eyes filled with guilt. I should have realized sooner. Everything was so professional, with fancy offices and legitimate-seeming paperwork. But once I started looking closer, I could see the problems. What did you do when you found out? Marcus asked. I started collecting evidence secretly, Lisa said. Copying files, taking screenshots of bank transfers. I thought maybe I could take it to the authorities. But then Ray caught me looking at the offshore account records. She shuddered at the memory. He was so angry, threatened me, said no one would believe me over him because he had powerful friends. Did he mention any names? Michael pressed. Not then, but I heard him on the phone once talking to someone named Carlton. They seemed close. Michael and Marcus exchanged glances. Carlton Reed? Michael asked. Lisa nodded eagerly. Yes, that's the name. You know him? He used to work for my real foundation, Michael said grimly. Lisa's eyes widened. That explains a lot. Ray always seemed to know exactly how your real charity operations worked. He could answer any question about how you typically handled donations or events. Lisa reached into her purse and pulled out a small flash drive. This has everything I managed to copy. Bank records, emails, donor lists, the names of everyone involved in the scam. Michael took the flash drive, turning it over in his large hand. You're taking a big risk giving me this. It's the right thing to do, Lisa said simply. Those people donated because they trusted your name. They thought they were helping sick children. I can't be part of that lie anymore. How many people were in on this scam? Marcus asked. Just a few, Lisa replied. Ray Thompson was the boss. Carlton Reed handled the public events and donor relations. There was a tech guy named Alex who built the website and handled social media, and a woman named Vanessa who answered phones and emails. Did any of them seem to have a personal grudge against me? Michael asked. Was this just about money, or was there something else? Lisa hesitated. Ray had a photo on his desk, him with another man. They looked like brothers. Sometimes he would look at it and get really angry. Once I heard him mutter something like, "He deserves this," while looking at the picture. Michael frowned. So, this might be personal. There's something else you should know, Lisa said, lowering her voice even further. The partners in this scam, one of them you know very well. Michael leaned forward. Who? Lisa glanced around nervously. I only saw him once, coming out of Ray's office. They argued about money. He wanted a bigger cut. Who was it? Michael pressed. I don't know his name, Lisa admitted. But Ray called him Coach. And from the way they talked, it sounded like he had worked with you before. Michael's mind raced through the many coaches he'd had over the years. Which one could be involved in this? This flash drive has everything, Michael confirmed, slipping it into his pocket. Lisa nodded. Everything I could gather. There's a file, with passwords to the charity's accounts too. You might be able to see where the money went. Thank you for coming forward, Michael said sincerely. The FBI will want to talk to you. Fear flashed across Lisa's face. I'm scared of what Ray will do if he finds out I helped you. We can arrange protection, Marcus assured her. Agent Nichols will make sure you're safe. As they left the museum, Michael felt the weight of the flash drive in his pocket. It might contain the answers they needed. Where the money went, who was involved, and most importantly, why someone would target him this way. Let's get back and see what's on this drive, Michael said to Marcus. And then we're paying Carlton Reed a visit. Behind them, Lisa Chen walked quickly in the opposite direction, constantly looking over her shoulder as if afraid someone might be following her. What she had given them could break the case wide open. But her final revelation bothered Michael deeply. One of his former coaches might be involved in this scheme. Someone he had trusted. Someone who knew him well. The betrayal cut deep. But it also made Michael more determined than ever to uncover the truth. Back at their hotel, Michael and Marcus huddled around the laptop, examining the contents of Lisa's flash drive. File after file appeared on the screen. Bank statements, emails, donor lists, and promotional materials for the fake charity. This is incredible, Marcus whispered as they scrolled through the evidence. She got everything. Michael focused on a spreadsheet showing money transfers. Millions had flowed into the charity's accounts, only to be quickly moved offshore. Can we trace where the money went? Marcus studied the numbers. Some of it, maybe. They used banks in the Cayman Islands and Panama. But look at this. He pointed to a series of payments made to different accounts. One name appeared repeatedly: Carlton Reed. Over $300,000 to Reed in the past year, Michael said, his jaw tightening. He was definitely in on it. They continued digging, opening email exchanges between Thompson and Reed. "Look at this one," Michael said, pointing to the screen. The email from Thompson to Reed read, "Everything is going according to plan. Jordan has no idea. 2 more months, and we'll have enough to disappear. Remember, this isn't just about the money." Reed's Toysahard reply was brief. "I know, but I still don't think we should involve Danny in this. It's too risky." "Who's Danny?" Marcus wondered aloud. Michael shook his head. "No idea. But this confirms it's not just a money scam. There's something personal here." They found another folder labeled Coach. Inside were several voice recordings. Michael clicked on one, and a familiar voice filled the room. "This is taking too long. I need my cut now, not in 2 months. Do you know what could happen if anyone finds out I'm involved in this?" Michael's beatsits. Blood ran cold. He recognized the voice immediately. "That's Frank Miller," he said quietly. "Your assistant coach from the Bulls." Marcus asked, surprised. Michael nodded slowly. "I never liked him much, but I respected him. He helped us win championships." Frank Miller had been an assistant coach during the Bulls' second three-peat. He'd been known for his defensive strategies and tough practices. After the Bulls' dynasty ended, he'd bounced around the league before disappearing from basketball altogether. Why would he do this? Michael wondered, the betrayal stinging freshly. They continued through the files and found photos of the fake charity's offices. It looked completely legitimate. Professional signage, staff working at desks, even framed photos of Michael on the walls. "No wonder people fell for it," Marcus said. "They made it look so real." "They had inside help," Michael replied grimly. "Reed knew how I ran my foundation. Miller knew me personally. They used that knowledge to make everything seem authentic." The last folder on the drive contained personal information about Ray Thompson. His address, his background, his family connections. There was a photo that matched what Lisa had described. Thompson with another man who looked similar to him, possibly a brother. "We've got enough here to take to the FBI," Marcus said. Michael nodded. "We will. But first, let's pay Carlton a visit. I want to look him in the eye when I ask why he betrayed me." It was after 7 p.m. when they pulled up outside Carlton Reed's apartment building in Lincoln Park. The modern glass high-rise overlooked the city, the kind of place that came with a hefty monthly rent. "Living well on stolen money," Michael observed as they entered the lobby. The security guard recognized Michael immediately, his eyes widening in surprise. "Mr. Jordan, I'm a huge fan." Michael smiled politely. "Thanks. I'm here to see Carlton Reed. It's a surprise visit." The guard hesitated for just a moment, then grinned. "Apartment 1103. Should I call up and let him know you're coming?" "No need," Michael said. "Like I said, it's a surprise." In the elevator, Marcus checked his phone. "Agent Nichols has been texting. She wants an update." "We'll call her after we talk to Carlton," Michael replied, watching the floor numbers climb. When they reached the 11th floor, they walked down a carpeted hallway to apartment 1103. Michael knocked firmly on the door. No answer. He knocked again, louder this time. Still nothing. "Maybe he's not home," Marcus suggested. Michael frowned and tried the door handle. To his surprise, it turned. Easily. The door was unlocked. "That's not a good sign," Marcus said quietly. They stepped into the apartment cautiously. It was a spacious, modern unit with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a spectacular view of Chicago's skyline. But something wasn't right. The place felt empty. "Carlton!" Michael called out. No response. They moved through the apartment, checking each room. The bed was unmade. Drawers were left open with clothes spilling out. The bathroom counter was cluttered with toiletries. "Looks like he left in a hurry," Marcus observed. In the kitchen, they found dirty dishes in the sink and a half-empty coffee cup on the counter. On the refrigerator, a takeout menu was held up by a magnet. "He didn't plan to leave," Michael said. Something spooked him. Marcus opened the refrigerator. Fresh food inside, nothing expired. He must have left very recently. On the kitchen counter, nearly hidden behind a stack of mail, was a small piece of paper. Michael picked it up. It was a boarding pass for a flight to San Juan, Puerto Rico. The date was that morning. "He's running," Michael said, showing the boarding pass to Marcus. "But now we know where." They continued searching the apartment. In the bedroom closet, they found a locked safe. After trying several combinations, Marcus suggested using numbers that might be important to Carlton. "Try his birthday," Michael suggested. April 15th, 1978. Marcus entered 041578. The safe remained locked. "What about the date he started working for your foundation?" Michael thought back. June 10th, 2012. Marcus tried 061012. Nothing. Then Michael remembered something. "The date of my 6th championship win, June 14th, 1998. He always talked about being at that game." Marcus entered 061498. The safe clicked open. Inside was a passport, several bundles of cash totaling about $10,000, and a handwritten note. "Ray, meet at Playa location as planned. Don't trust FM anymore. He's getting nervous. Thompson wants to change the timeline. Get there by Friday." "CR Playa location," Marcus repeated. "That must be somewhere in Puerto Rico. And FM, Frank Miller," Michael finished. "And Thompson. He mentions Thompson like it's someone else, not Ray." Michael took a photo of the note with his phone. "We need to get to Puerto Rico. Today." As they prepared to leave, Michael took one last look around the apartment. He had trusted Carlton Reed once, given him responsibility, a good job, even invited him to team events. And this was how Carlton had repaid him, by stealing his name, betraying his trust, and cheating thousands of innocent people. Michael's famous competitive fire burned hotter than it had in years. He wasn't just going to find Carlton and Thompson. He was going to make this right. The private jet touched down at Luis Muñoz Marin International Airport in San Juan just after noon the next day. Bright Caribbean sunshine greeted Michael and Marcus as they stepped onto the tarmac. The humid air felt thick compared to Chicago's spring chill. "Agent Nichols wasn't happy we came without telling her first," Marcus said as they walked toward the terminal. Michael shrugged. "She knows now, and she agreed to let local authorities know we're here." Before leaving Chicago, they had finally updated Agent Nichols. She wasn't pleased they had entered Reed's apartment without authorization, but was very interested in what they'd found. The FBI was now tracking Frank Miller as well. "Where do we start?" Marcus asked as they climbed into a waiting SUV. "San Juan is a big city, and then there's the rest of Puerto Rico." "We start with the tourist areas," Michael said. "Reed and Thompson aren't here for vacation, but they'll blend in better where there are other visitors." Michael pulled a baseball cap low over his eyes and put on sunglasses. Even in Puerto Rico, he was instantly recognizable. The last thing they needed was fans or reporters following them. They checked into La Concha Resort, a stylish beachfront hotel in the Condado district. From their suite, They could see the vast blue expanse of the Atlantic Ocean and the golden sand of Condado Beach crowded with tourists. "We should check the high-end hotels first," Marcus suggested. "With the money they stole, they can afford luxury." They spent the afternoon visiting hotel after hotel, showing Carlton's picture to staff. No one recognized him, or at least no one admitted to recognizing him. The frustration was building when Marcus's phone rang. "It's Agent Nichols," he said, answering the call. Michael watched as Marcus listened, occasionally saying, "Yes," or "I understand." When he hung up, he looked excited. They tracked Frank Miller's credit card. He booked a flight to San Juan yesterday, but never boarded. They think he got spooked. "So he's still in Chicago," Michael said. "Probably. But here's the interesting part. They found something about Ray Thompson's brother. His name was Danny Teller." Michael frowned. "Teller, not Thompson." "Exactly. Ray's real name is Raymond Teller. He changed it to Thompson a few years ago." "Danny Teller," Michael repeated, trying to place the name. "Why does that sound familiar?" Marcus was already searching on his phone. Here it is. Danny Teller was a basketball player. Tried out for the Bulls in 1995. "I remember now," Michael said, slowly. "Young kid, good shooter, but not quite NBA level. He didn't make the final cut." According to the FBI, he struggled after that. Drug problems. Died of an overdose 3 years ago. Michael absorbed this information silently. A failed basketball player whose brother blamed him somehow? Could this whole elaborate scam be about revenge? "We need to find them now," Michael said, his voice firm. "Let's split up. I'll check the marinas. If they're planning to hide out on one of the smaller islands, they'll need a boat. You check the tour companies and car rental places." For the rest of the afternoon, they searched. Michael visited every marina in San Juan, showing Carlton's picture and asking questions. Most people shook their heads or shrugged, but at a small boat rental shop near Condado Beach, he finally got lucky. The shop owner, an older man named Diego Ferrer, studied Carlton's picture carefully. "See, this man was here," he said in accented English. "Yesterday. He rented my fastest boat. Paid cash, double the normal rate." Michael felt a surge of excitement. "Did he say where he was going?" Diego shook his head. "No, but he bought many supplies. Food, water, extra fuel, enough for a long trip or for reaching one of the smaller islands." "Was he alone?" Michael asked. Diego scratched his gray beard thoughtfully. "No, there was another man with him. Older, nervous-looking. He stayed in the car mostly, but I saw him." "What did he look like?" "Maybe 50. Thin, with glasses." He seemed afraid, looking around all the time. That matched Ray Thompson's description from the photos they'd seen. Michael thanked Diego and was about to leave when the man called after him. "Wait! I know who you are. You're Michael Jordan, yes?" Michael nodded reluctantly, expecting the usual request for an autograph or photo. Instead, Diego's expression darkened. "That man who rented my boat, did he do something to you?" "He stole my name," Michael said simply. "Used it to trick people." Diego spat on the ground. "Disgraceful. My son loved watching you play. No one should steal another man's name." He paused, then added, "My cousin Elena knows these waters better than anyone. She can take you where you need to go." 20 minutes later, Michael was on the phone with Marcus. "I found them," he said. "They rented a boat yesterday. I'm arranging for someone to take us after them." "I'll meet you at the marina," Marcus replied. "I might have something too." A car rental place remembers Reed. He was asking about ferries to Vieques and Culebra. Elena, Diego's cousin, turned out to be a woman in her 50s, with weathered skin and sharp eyes that missed nothing. She greeted them at the marina, already preparing a powerful speedboat. "Diego says you chase bad men," she said, eyeing Michael with curiosity. "These waters have many places to hide." "They rented a boat from your cousin yesterday," Michael explained. "We need to find them." Elena nodded. "There are many small islands where they could go. Culebra, Vieques, even Palomino or Icacos. Or they could go to the Virgin Islands, very close from here." As the boat cut through the waves, leaving San Juan behind, Michael stared at the endless blue water. Somewhere out there were the men who had stolen his name and cheated thousands of people. The vastness of the Caribbean suddenly made the task seem impossible. They checked 3 small islands without success. On each, Elena knew someone: a harbor master, a restaurant owner, a local fisherman. She asked questions in rapid Spanish while Michael and Marcus waited, hoping for news. By late afternoon, as the sun began to lower in the sky, frustration was setting in. They had found no sign of Reed or Thompson. Elena suggested they try one more place before dark. "Isla de Vieques," she said, pointing to an island in the distance. "It is special. The U.S. Navy used it for training for many years, but now it is for tourists and those who want to disappear." The speedboat raced toward Vieques, bouncing over the waves. As they approached, Michael could see why someone might choose this island as a hiding place. Long stretches of undeveloped coastline, thick forests, and only a few small towns dotted the landscape. They docked at a small harbor in the town of Esperanza. Unlike the other islands they'd visited, Elena didn't immediately lead them to someone she knew. Instead, she looked uncertain. "I don't come to Vieques often," she admitted, "but there is a place where visitors go, a bar called the Blue Parrot. We can ask there." The Blue Parrot was a small open-air bar on the waterfront. Ceiling fans spun lazily overhead, and Bob Marley played softly from speakers. A mix of tourists and locals sat at tables and along the bar. The bartender, a young woman with dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, eyed them curiously as they approached. Elena spoke to her briefly in Spanish, before showing her Carlton's picture on Michael's phone. The woman's eyes widened in recognition. "Yeah, I saw this guy yesterday," she said in perfect English. "He was in here with another man, older guy. They weren't very friendly, just had a couple beers and asked about places to stay." Michael leaned forward eagerly. "Did you tell them somewhere?" She nodded. "Casa del Mar Vacation Rentals. They have little houses on the beach, very private. The end of the road, about 2 miles that way." She pointed down the coast. "Little yellow house at the end." They thanked her and hurried back to Elena's boat. It would be faster to approach by water than to find a car. As the speedboat curved along the coastline, Michael spotted a row of small, colorful houses perched just above. A perfect crescent beach. The last one, painted bright yellow with blue shutters, stood slightly apart from the others. "That's it," he told Elena. "Can you get us close?" She guided the boat toward a small wooden dock. As they drew near, Michael saw a figure sitting on the porch of the yellow house. Even from a distance, he recognized Carlton Reed. Michael's heart pounded as they tied up at the dock. After days of searching, they had finally found one of the men responsible for this mess. As they walked toward the house, Carlton spotted them. His face drained of color. He jumped to his feet, looking around frantically, but there was nowhere to run. The beach ended in rocky cliffs on one side, and the other houses were too far to reach quickly. Michael approached slowly, his tall frame casting a long shadow in the late afternoon sun. Carlton seemed to shrink with each step Michael took toward him. "Hello, Carlton," Michael said calmly. "It's been a long time." Carlton Reed's face was a mask of terror and shame. His mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. I can explain," he finally stammered. "I'm sure you can," Michael replied, his voice steady but filled with controlled anger. "How could you do this, Carlton? I trusted you." Carlton's shoulders slumped. He gestured weakly toward the chairs on the porch. "You might as well sit down." Michael and Marcus climbed the steps to the porch while Elena waited by the boat. The wooden chairs creaked under their weight. The setting sun painted the sky orange and pink, a beautiful backdrop for an ugly conversation. "Where's Thompson?" Michael asked immediately. "Gone," Carlton said, staring at his hands. "He left for Tortola yesterday with all the money. He double-crossed me, too." "Tortola? In the British Virgin Islands?" Marcus asked. Carlton nodded miserably. "He has a villa there. Private, secluded. I was supposed to meet him there tomorrow, but—" He gestured helplessly at Michael. "I guess that's not happening now." "Tell me everything," Michael demanded, "from the beginning." Carlton took a deep breath. "It started about 1.5 years ago. Ray contacted me, said he knew I'd worked for your foundation. He had this idea for a charity scam using your name. It seemed so easy." His voice cracked. "It wasn't supposed to get this big. Ray said we'd just raise a little money. Then it grew, and I couldn't get out." "You could have gone to the police," Marcus pointed out. "You could have warned Michael." Carlton laughed bitterly. "And admit I was already involved? By the time I wanted out, we'd already taken in almost $1 million. "What about Frank Miller?" Michael asked. "How did he get involved?" "Ray brought him in. Said we needed someone who knew you personally to make it more convincing." Carlton glanced up at Michael. Frank hated how his coaching career ended. Blamed you for not endorsing him for head coaching jobs. Michael shook his head in disgust. "I never blocked any opportunities for Frank. That's in his head." "There's something else going on here," Michael continued, leaning forward. "This isn't just about money, is it? Why me? Why my name?" Carlton looked away, toward the setting sun. "You should ask Ray that question." "Oh, I will," Michael promised. "And you're going to help me find him." "Why would I do that?" Carlton asked. "I'm already looking at prison time." "Because helping me might be the only thing that helps you in Fevar and Second Court," Michael said. "And because it's your chance to do one right thing in this whole mess." Carlton was silent for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. "Ray's real name is Raymond Teller. His brother was Danny Teller. The kid who tried out for the Bulls in '95, Michael said. "I remember. Danny always told his brother that you, specifically, told the coaches not to pick him," Carlton explained. "Said you felt threatened by his talent." Michael stared in disbelief. "That's crazy. I never said anything about him." Ray believed his brother. When Danny died of an overdose 3 years ago, Ray blamed you. Said Danny might have had a different life if he'd made the team. The pieces were finally falling into place. This elaborate scam wasn't just about stealing money. It was about revenge. "Where in Tortola?" Michael asked. "Where exactly is Thompson Teller staying?" "He has a villa in the hills above Long Bay. Very private. It's called Vista Paradiso." Carlton hesitated. "But he's dangerous, Michael. More than you know. This whole charity scam, it's just part of what he planned." "What do you mean?" Marcus asked sharply. "The revenge," Carlton said quietly. "Ray always said the money was just the first step. He has something else planned. Something big that would destroy your reputation forever. Michael stood up. We're going to Tortola. Now. And you're coming with us. Carlton's face paled. I can't. Go back there. Ray will kill me if he knows I've talked to you. You should have thought about that before you stole my name, Michael said coldly. As they led Carlton to Elena's boat, Marcus pulled Michael aside. We should call Agent Nichols, he said in a low voice. Let her know what we've found. Michael nodded. We will, but from the boat. We're not waiting for the FBI to catch up. Not when Thompson's planning something worse. The speedboat cut through, the darkening water heading back toward San Juan. They would need to arrange transportation to Tortola immediately. On the boat, Carlton sat with his head down, occasionally glancing nervously at Michael. There's something else you should know, he finally said, raising his voice above the engine noise. About Danny Teller. Michael moved closer to hear him. Danny didn't just fail the tryout, Carlton continued. There was more to it. Ray has evidence, or thinks he does, that you deliberately sabotaged Danny's chances. That's not true, Michael said firmly. Maybe not, but Ray believes it. And that's what this is all about. Carlton looked up at Michael, his eyes haunted. He's been planning this for years, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect revenge. As San Juan's lights came into view, Michael thought about Raymond Teller, a man consumed by hatred over something that never happened. A man who had spent years plotting revenge for an imagined wrong. We'll stay at the airport hotel tonight, Michael told Marcus as they approached the marina. First flight to Tortola in the morning. Carlton looked up. You're really going to confront him? Yes, Michael said simply. What are you going to do when you find him? Carlton asked. Michael stared at the city lights reflecting on the dark water. Throughout his career, he had faced countless opponents on the basketball court. He had studied them, learned their weaknesses, then defeated them. Raymond Teller was just another opponent. A different game, but the same principles applied. I'm going to look him in the eye, Michael said, and I'm going to tell him the truth. What happens after that is up to him. As they docked at the marina, Michael's phone rang. It was Agent Nichols. And we found something about Raymond Teller, she said without preamble. Something you need to know before you confront him. What is it? Michael asked. He was diagnosed with terminal cancer 6 months ago. The doctors gave him less than a year to live. Her voice was grim. He has nothing to lose, Michael. That makes him very dangerous. Michael was silent for a moment, absorbing Agent Nichols's words. A dying man with a grudge against him. A man with nothing to lose. That's all the more reason I need to face him, Michael finally said. We're heading to Tortola tomorrow morning. Michael, wait for us, Agent Nichols urged. We're working with local authorities. We can have people there by tomorrow afternoon. Paulie might be gone by then, Michael replied. I need to do this now. After ending the call, Michael turned to Marcus and Carlton. Change of plans. We leave for Tortola tonight. Within 2 hours, they had chartered a small plane. The pilot wasn't happy about a night flight, but changed his mind when he recognized Michael Jordan. By 11 p.m., they were airborne, flying over the dark Caribbean Sea. Carlton sat alone in the back of the plane, staring out the window. Marcus leaned close to Michael. Do you trust him? He asked quietly, nodding toward Carlton. No, Michael answered. But we need him to find Thompson. Teller, Marcus corrected. Raymond Teller. Michael nodded. Right. I need to remember that. This is personal for him. The small plane landed at Terence B. Lettsome International Airport just after midnight. Despite the late hour, they quickly arranged for a rental car and a hotel room where they could get a few hours of sleep before continuing their search in the morning. As dawn broke over Tortola, Carlton finally revealed the full story. Ray's brother Danny was a good player, he explained as they drove through the winding roads of the island. Maybe not NBA level, but he had talent. When he didn't make the Bulls, he spiraled, started using drugs, got into debt. Ray supported him for years, watched him destroy himself. And he blamed me, Michael said. Carlton nodded. Danny told him you specifically blocked him, said you felt threatened because he played your position and had a similar style. Michael shook his head. I was playing baseball when he tried out. I wasn't even there. I know, Carlton replied, but Ray never questioned his brother's story. After Danny died, Ray became obsessed with getting revenge. He spent years planning it. The charity scam was just the beginning? Marcus asked. Carlton looked nervous. Ray has something else, something he called his final move. He wouldn't tell me exactly what it was, but he said it would destroy you completely. Something about evidence he's been saving. The car climbed higher into the hills above Long Bay. Luxury villas dotted the landscape, each with breathtaking views of the turquoise sea. That's it, Carlton said suddenly, pointing to a modern white structure perched on the hillside. Vista Paradiso. The villa was stunning, all clean lines and glass, with an infinity pool stretching toward the ocean view. It looked peaceful and beautiful, not like the hideout of a man consumed by hatred. They parked some distance away and watched the villa through binoculars. I see movement, Marcus said. Someone's on the terrace. Michael took the binoculars. Through them, he could see a thin man with gray hair sitting at a table working on a laptop. Raymond Teller. That's him, Carlton confirmed. And he's alone. He must have sent the security guys away. How do you want to handle this? Marcus asked. Michael thought for a moment. I want to talk to him alone, face to face. That's too dangerous, Marcus protested. He hates you. And he's dying. Agent Nichols was right. He has nothing to lose. That's exactly why I need to do this, Michael replied. He needs to hear the truth. From me. What about me? Carlton asked nervously. You stay in the car with Marcus, Michael said firmly. You've done enough damage already. Michael began walking toward the villa, his tall figure casting a long shadow in the morning sun. As he approached, he could see Raymond more clearly. The man looked ill, his face gaunt, his body thin. Cancer was already taking its toll. Raymond didn't seem surprised when Michael stepped onto the terrace. He looked up from his laptop with a calm expression. I wondered how long it would take you to find me, he said. It's over, Raymond, Michael said. The FBI knows everything. About the charity scam, about your real name, all of it. Raymond shrugged. It doesn't matter anymore. I got what I wanted. What? Money? Revenge? Michael moved closer. You hurt a lot of innocent people just to get back at me for something I didn't do. Didn't do? Raymond's calm facade cracked. My brother had talent. He could have been something. But you took that away from him. I never said a word about your brother, Michael said evenly. Not to anyone. His tryout was before I came back to the Bulls that season. I wasn't even there. Raymond's eyes narrowed. You're lying. Check the dates, Michael challenged him. I was still playing baseball when Danny tried out. I never met him, never saw him play, never said a word about him to anyone. For a moment, Raymond just stared at him. Then he turned to his laptop and began typing frantically, searching for information. Michael watched as the man's face changed, confusion replacing certainty. That can't be right, Raymond muttered. Danny said, Your brother was wrong, Michael said gently. And so were you. Raymond looked up, his face suddenly years older. All this time... I'm sorry about your brother, Michael continued. Truly. But I had nothing to do with what happened to him. Raymond slumped in his chair. I've spent years planning this. Years believing... Why didn't you just ask me? Michael said. Why go through all this? Raymond laughed bitterly. Ask you? The great Michael Jordan? Would you have even taken my call? Yes, Michael said simply. I would have. A long silence stretched between them. In the distance, birds called to each other, and waves crashed against the shore far below. It was a beautiful day on a beautiful island, a sharp contrast to the ugly truth being exposed on the terrace. It's too late now, Raymond finally said. His voice sounded hollow. I can't undo what I've done. No, you can't, Michael agreed, but you can start making it right. Return the money. Tell the truth. Raymond's eyes hardened. So you can be the hero again? The great Michael Jordan saves the day? He shook his head. No, I may have been wrong about you and Danny, but I've gone too far to back down now. He turned back to his laptop. Do you want to see what I was working on when you arrived? My final statement. Explaining why I did all this. It would have been released after my death. Michael looked at the screen. Raymond had been writing a long document detailing his beliefs about Michael's role in his brother's failed career and subsequent downfall. It's all a lie, Michael said quietly. Based on another lie, Raymond admitted. My brother's lie. He closed the laptop. Danny always needed someone else to blame. Even as kids, nothing was ever his fault. He looked up at Michael, his eyes filled with a mixture of anger and despair. What happens now? Before Michael could answer Raymond's question, the quiet moment was shattered by the sound of car doors slamming. Through the villa's large windows, they could see several vehicles pulling up. Men and women in dark suits emerged, FBI agents, led by Agent Nichols. Looks like they caught up with us, Michael said. Raymond's face hardened. You brought them here. I didn't plan it this way, Michael replied honestly. But it's better that they're here. This needs to end officially. Raymond stood up slowly, his thin frame looking fragile in the morning light. I'm not going to prison, Michael. I don't have time for that. You can still make things right, Michael urged. Return the money. Tell the truth about what happened. The money's gone, Raymond said flatly. Most of it, anyway. Spent on treatments. That didn't work. On setting up the fake charity. On buying this place. He gestured around the beautiful villa. There's still about $3 million in an offshore account, he admitted. I was saving it for... I don't know what anymore. Outside, Agent Nichols was organizing her team, surrounding the villa. Marcus stood beside her, pointing toward the terrace where Michael and Raymond stood. They'll be coming in soon, Michael said. What are you going to do? Raymond's shoulders slumped. The fight seemed to drain out of him all at once. I wasted what little time I have left on a lie. My brother's lie. He walked to a cabinet and pulled out a folder. This is the account information. The passwords. Everything you need to access. The remaining money. He handed it to Michael. At least those people can get some of their donations back. Michael took the folder. Thank you. It's a start. Raymond sank back into his chair, suddenly looking every bit the dying man he was. I've been so angry for so long. When Danny died, I needed someone to blame. He always said it was your fault, and I believed him. I never questioned it. Outside, Agent Nichols was speaking into a megaphone. "Raymond Teller! This is the FBI. The villa is surrounded. Come out with your hands up." "You should go," Raymond said to Michael. "Let them do their job." Michael shook his head. "I want to know why. All this elaborate planning, the fake charity, using my name, why not just confront me directly? Why hurt all those innocent people?" "I wanted you to feel what Danny felt," Raymond explained, his voice bitter. "The humiliation, the betrayal. I wanted your name ruined, just like his basketball career was ruined. The charity scam was just the beginning." "What else were you planning?" Michael asked. Raymond opened his laptop again. "I have emails, documents, video recordings, all fake, but convincing, showing you were secretly involved in gambling and game fixing during your career. I was going to release it all after my death. No one could trace it back to me then. Your legacy would be destroyed forever." Michael felt a chill. Fake evidence of gambling and game fixing would have been devastating to everything he had built. "They're fabricated," Raymond continued. "But they look real. Very real." The sound of footsteps on the stairs told them the FBI agents were approaching. "Is it on that laptop?" Michael asked urgently. "All of it?" Raymond nodded. "And backed up online. But without the passwords, no one can access it." The door burst open. Agent Nichols entered, flanked by several agents with weapons drawn. "Raymond Teller," she announced. "You're under arrest for fraud, money laundering, identity theft, and conspiracy." Raymond stood up slowly, hands raised. "I'm not resisting." As the agents moved forward to handcuff him, he looked at Michael one last time. "I was wrong about you. But I still don't know if I can forgive what happened to Danny." "It wasn't my fault," Michael said quietly. "But I'm sorry for what happened to your brother. And to you." The agents began reading Raymond his rights. "Agent," Nichols approached Michael. "Are you okay?" she asked. Michael nodded, holding up the folder Raymond had given him. He provided the offshore account information, about $3 million that can be returned to the donors. "That's good," Agent Nichols said, looking surprised. "We'll need that as evidence, but it will help his case if he's cooperating." As the agents led Raymond away, Michael called after him. "Raymond!" Raymond turned. "The passwords," Michael said, "for the fake evidence you created. Will you tell them to Agent Nichols?" Raymond's face was unreadable. For a long moment he said, "Nothing." Then, slowly, he nodded. "It was all based on a lie," he said. "There's no point continuing it." After Raymond was taken away, Michael stood alone on the terrace, looking out at the spectacular view. The blue Caribbean stretched to the horizon, peaceful and endless. Marcus joined him. "It's over," he said. "Almost," Michael replied. "There's still a lot to clean up." Agent Nichols returned, looking tired but satisfied. "Raymond's cooperating fully. He's given us access to all his files, including the fake evidence he created against you. We'll make sure it's destroyed. And the money? We'll start the process of returning it to the donors. It won't cover everything, but it's better than nothing." Michael nodded, thinking about the thousands of people who had donated to the fake charity, people who believed they were helping sick children, people who trusted his name. "What about Carlton Reed and Frank Miller?" he asked. "Reed is in custody," Agent Nichols confirmed. "He'll face charges, but his cooperation will be taken into consideration. We picked up Miller in Chicago yesterday. He's already talking, trying to make a deal." Michael looked back toward the villa, where Raymond was being placed in a vehicle. Despite everything the man had done, Michael felt a strange mixture of anger and pity. Raymond had wasted his final months on a pointless revenge scheme based on a lie his brother had told. What happens to Raymond now? Michael asked. Agent Nichols sighed. He'll be charged, but given his medical condition, it's complicated. He may spend what time he has left under house arrest rather than in prison. The convoy of vehicles began to pull away, taking Raymond back to face justice. Michael watched them go, feeling not triumph, but a deep sadness. So many lives damaged, so much pain and betrayal, all because of a lie that had never been questioned. "Let's go home," he said to Marcus. "We have work to do." The flight back to the United States was quiet. Michael spent most of it staring out the window at the clouds below, thinking about everything that had happened. The FBI had arranged for them to travel on a government plane alongside Agent Nichols, who was escorting Raymond Teller back to face formal charges. Raymond sat at the back of the plane, handcuffed and guarded, looking small and defeated. Despite everything the man had done, Michael couldn't help feeling a twinge of pity. Raymond had wasted his final months on a revenge scheme built entirely on his brother's lie. "What are you thinking about?" Marcus asked, breaking the silence. "All. Those people who donated to the fake charity," Michael replied. "They believed they were helping sick kids. They trusted my name. The FBI will return the $3 million Raymond gave us," Marcus pointed out. "That's something." "But not enough," Michael said. "The scam took in over $4 million. Those people deserve to get their money back." Marcus looked concerned. "Michael, you're not thinking of—" "I am," Michael interrupted. "I'm going to make this right. Every dollar that was stolen, I'll replace it." "That's over $1 million of your own money," Marcus protested. "I can afford it," Michael said simply. As the plane began its descent into Washington, D.C., Agent Nichols came to sit across from Michael. "We've been going through Raymond's files," she said. "The fake evidence he created about you was sophisticated. If he had released it, it would have caused serious damage to your reputation. But now you'll destroy it," Michael said. Agent Nichols nodded. "Once the case is closed, yes, but there's something else you should know." She lowered her voice. "Raymond claims that his brother left him a box with some kind of evidence, something about the real reason Danny didn't make the Bulls." Michael frowned. "What kind of evidence?" "He won't say exactly. Just that it's in a storage unit in Chicago. Something Danny wanted kept private while their mother was alive. She passed away last year." "Could be nothing," Michael said. "Or more lies." "Maybe," Agent Nichols agreed, "but we'll check it out. I'll let you know what we find." As they prepared to land, a flight attendant passed Michael a note. It was from Raymond. "I know you don't owe me anything," it read, "but I'd like to speak with you one more time before they take me away. 5 minutes." Michael stared at the note for a long moment, then stood up and walked to the back of the plane. The FBI agent guarding Raymond stepped aside to give them some privacy. "Thank you for coming," Raymond said, his voice weak. He looked exhausted, his face gray with fatigue. "I wanted to apologize, not just for the charity scam, but for everything I plan to do to your reputation." "You were wrong about me," Michael said, "but I understand why you believed your brother." Raymond nodded slowly. "Family loyalty. It blinded me." He coughed, a dry, painful sound. "The doctors say I have maybe 2 months left. Not much time to make amends." "The money you returned will help," Michael said. "It's not enough," Raymond replied. "I know that. But there's something else." He leaned forward, speaking quietly. "In that storage unit, with Danny's things, there's evidence about why he really didn't make the team. He never wanted anyone to know, especially our mother." "What kind of evidence?" Raymond looked away. "Danny threw his tryout, deliberately played poorly. He was in debt to some bad people. They bet against him making the team. Michael felt a surge of anger. So, all these years, you blamed me for something your brother did to himself? I never knew, Raymond said, his voice breaking. He lied to everyone. The storage unit has a videotape and letters proving it. I only found it after our mother died. The plane touched down, bumping slightly on the runway. What are you going to do with this information? Michael asked. It's your choice, Raymond said. The FBI will find the storage unit. What happens to its contents is up to you. As the plane taxied to a stop, FBI agents approached to take Raymond away. I'm sorry, Raymond said one last time, for everything. Michael watched as they led Raymond off the plane. Outside, more agents and police vehicles waited on the tarmac. Raymond's remaining life would be spent either in a prison hospital or under house arrest. His revenge plan had come to nothing. Back in Chicago the next day, Michael met with Jamal Winters, his publicist, to discuss how to handle the aftermath of the scandal. The press is still all over this, Jamal reported. But the tone is changing. People are starting to understand you were a victim too. I want to make a statement, Michael said. A press conference. It's time to set the record straight. Good idea, Jamal agreed. We'll emphasize that you had nothing to do with the fake charity, that the FBI has caught those responsible, and that some of the money will be returned to donors. I want to announce something else, Michael said. I'm going to personally repay every dollar that wasn't recovered. And I'm establishing a real children's hospital fund with an initial donation of $10 million of my own money. Jamal stared at him. Michael, that's incredibly generous, but it's not about generosity, Michael interrupted. It's about trust. When you've been blessed with success like I have, your name means something. People trust it. I won't let someone destroy that trust. As Jamal worked on arranging the press conference, Michael received a call from Agent Nichols. We found the storage unit, she said, and you need to see what's inside. Later that afternoon, Michael met her at an FBI office in Chicago. On a table was a cardboard box labeled Danny T. This contains evidence that Danny Teller deliberately threw his Bulls tryout, Agent Nichols explained. VHS tape showing him meeting with a known gambler, letters about fixing the tryout, and betting records. Michael stared at the box. Raymond was telling the truth. Yes, Agent Nichols confirmed. Danny lied to his brother for years, claiming you blocked him from making the team. But he sabotaged himself for money. What happens to this now? Michael asked. That's a complicated question, Agent Nichols replied. Technically, it's evidence in an ongoing investigation. But eventually, decisions will need to be made about what becomes public. Michael thought about Raymond, dying in custody, still, believing his brother had been a victim rather than the architect of his own failure. Raymond should know the truth about his brother, Michael said finally. But after that, I want this sealed. Danny's dead. Revealing this publicly won't help anyone. Agent Nichols nodded. I think that can be arranged. As Michael left the FBI office, he felt a weight lifting. His name would be cleared. The donors would get their money back. The truth about Danny Teller would remain private. It wasn't a perfect ending, but it was the right one. Now he had a press conference to prepare for. It was time to face the world and begin rebuilding the trust in his name. 1 week later, Michael Jordan stood in a small room behind the main conference hall of Chicago's Hilton Hotel. Through the door, he could hear the murmur of reporters gathering. Dozens of news outlets from around the world had come to hear what the basketball legend had to say about the charity scandal that had rocked his reputation. Jamal Winters adjusted Michael's tie one last time. Remember, stick to the statement we prepared. Short, clear answers to questions. Don't get drawn into details about the FBI investigation. Michael nodded, but his mind was elsewhere. Earlier that morning, Agent Nichols had called with news about Raymond Teller. His health had deteriorated rapidly after his arrest. Doctors didn't think he would last the month. "It's time," Marcus said, opening the door. Michael walked onto the small stage and took his place behind a podium covered in microphones. Camera flashes exploded like lightning. The room fell silent as he cleared his throat. "Thank you all for coming," he began, his deep voice steady and clear. "Last week, we all learned that someone used my name to trick good people into donating to a fake charity. I had nothing to do with this scam, but I feel responsible because it was my name that made people trust it." He paused, looking out at the sea of reporters. They were all watching him intently, waiting for his words. "The FBI has arrested those responsible. They recovered some of the stolen money, about $3 million. That money will be returned to those who donated." Michael took a deep breath before continuing. "Today, I am announcing that I will personally repay every dollar that was not recovered. Every person who donated will get their money back. And I'm creating a real children's hospital fund with an initial donation of $10 million of IP. My own money." A surprised murmur ran through the crowd. Reporters began shouting questions, but Michael raised his hand for silence. "This wasn't about money for me. It was about trust. When you've been blessed with success like I have, your name means something. People trust it. I won't let someone destroy that trust." He stepped back from the podium, indicating he would now take questions. Hands shot up across the room. "Mr. Jordan," called a reporter from ESPN, "were you surprised to learn that people you had worked with were involved in this scam?" Michael nodded. "Yes, Carlton Reed worked for my foundation. Frank Miller was an assistant coach during my time with the Bulls. Their betrayal was painful, but they'll face justice for what they did." Another reporter stood up. "What about Raymond Teller? We understand his brother tried out for the Bulls during your career. Was this revenge for him not making the team?" "Raymond Teller believed a lie his brother told him," Michael said carefully. "Danny Teller failed his tryout on his own merits. I never blocked him from making the team. I wasn't even with the Bulls when he tried out. I was playing baseball at the time." Questions continued for nearly an hour. Michael answered each one calmly and honestly, without revealing the truth about Danny's gambling connections. Some things were better left private. As the press conference wound down, a young reporter from the Chicago Tribune asked the question Michael had been waiting for. "Mr. Jordan, you're personally repaying over $1 million to people who were scammed. Why take on that responsibility when you had nothing to do with the fake charity?" Michael leaned into the microphone. "Because it's the right thing to do. Those people gave their hard-earned money because they trusted my name. I won't let them down." After the final question, Michael stepped away from the podium. Camera flashes followed him as he left the stage. In the hallway, Marcus waited with Agent Nichols. "Well done," Agent Nichols said. "Clear, honest, and generous. The public will respond well to that." "I hope so," Michael replied. "Has Raymond seen the evidence yet? The video of his brother?" Agent Nichols nodded. "Yesterday, he asked me to give you a message." "What is it?" He said, "Thank you for letting me know the truth, even though it hurt." Michael absorbed this silently. Raymond Teller had spent years plotting revenge based on his brother's lie. Now, in his final weeks, he had to face the painful truth. "What will happen to him?" Michael asked. "Given his condition, he's been transferred to a secure medical facility, rather than prison. He won't see trial." Agent Nichols looked at Michael closely. "Are you okay with that?" Michael thought for a moment. "Yes, he's already serving a sentence worse than anything a judge could give him." In the days that followed, Michael's press conference was covered by media outlets around the world. As he had hoped, most focused on his generosity in repaying the scammed donors and creating a new, legitimate charity. The story began to shift. What had started as a scandal damaging to Michael's reputation was becoming a story of his integrity and generosity in the face of betrayal. Letters and emails poured in from donors, thanking Michael for making things right. Children's hospitals across the country reached out, hoping to partner with his new foundation. A week after the press conference, Michael visited the offices of his new Jordan Children's Health Initiative. The legitimate charity would help thousands of children get medical care they couldn't otherwise afford. As he walked through the offices, meeting the staff and reviewing plans, his phone buzzed with a text from Agent Nichols. Raymond Teller passed away this morning, peaceful, in his sleep. His last request was that no services be held, but that his ashes be scattered with his brothers. Michael stood by the window, looking out at Chicago. Raymond and Danny Teller were both gone now. Their story, the lies, the revenge, the truth, would remain private, just as Michael had decided. In the end, Michael's reputation wasn't just saved. It was stronger than ever. People saw how he had responded to betrayal with generosity and integrity. The charity scandal had tested his character, and in the eyes of the world, he had passed that test magnificently. But alone in his office, Michael didn't feel triumphant. He felt a quiet sadness for the Teller brothers and the tragedy their lives had become. One brother had lied to protect his pride, and the other had built his final years around that lie. "Sir?" Marcus appeared in the doorway. "There's a group of children from Cook County Hospital here to meet you. They're in the conference room." Michael put his phone away and straightened his tie. There were children waiting to meet him, and a new foundation to build. The past was settled. It was time to focus on the future. 3 months passed. The new Jordan Children's Health Initiative was thriving, having already helped hundreds of kids get medical care they couldn't otherwise afford. The charity scandal had faded from the headlines, replaced by newer stories. Michael was working in his office at the Charlotte Hornets headquarters when Marcus brought in the Daily Mail. "Mostly the usual," Marcus said, setting the stack on Michael's desk. "Fan mail, business proposals, charity requests." But one envelope caught Michael's eye. It had no return address, just his name written in shaky handwriting. He opened it carefully. Inside was a letter, dated a week before Raymond Teller's death. The prison medical facility's stamp was in the corner. "What is it?" Marcus asked, noticing Michael's expression. "A letter from Raymond Teller," Michael replied quietly. Marcus frowned. "How did he get your address?" "Probably from Carlton Reed." Michael unfolded the letter and began to read. "Mr. Jordan," it began, "I can never undo the damage I caused. I let bitterness consume me and hurt innocent people in the process. But there's something you should know." The letter explained that before his arrest, Thompson had hidden something important. In a storage unit in Chicago was a box containing evidence about the real reason Danny Teller didn't make the Bulls. Michael stopped reading and looked up at Marcus. "Agent Nichols already showed us this evidence. We know Danny threw his tryout for gamblers." "Keep reading," Marcus suggested. Michael returned to the letter. "The FBI may have found my first storage unit," Raymond continued, "but there's a second one they don't know about. Unit 219 at Lakeview Storage. The code is 7392. Inside is a box with more evidence about Danny. Things I couldn't bear to look at after I found them. Maybe they should be destroyed. Maybe they matter. I leave that decision to you. The letter ended simply. I'm sorry for everything. Raymond. Michael set the letter down slowly. He had a second storage unit. Should we tell Agent Nichols? Marcus asked. Michael thought for a moment. Not yet. Let's see what's there first. The next day, they flew to Chicago. The Lakeview storage facility was in a quiet industrial area on the city's north side. The manager barely glanced at them as they signed in under false names. Unit 219 was small, just 5 by 5 feet. Michael entered the code, 7392, and the padlock clicked open. Inside was a single cardboard box labeled Danny. Michael lifted it carefully. It wasn't heavy. Let's not open it here, he said to Marcus. They took the box to their hotel room. When they finally opened it, they found old documents and a videotape from 1995. The tape was labeled Bulls Tryout After. We should watch this, Marcus said. They requested a VCR from the hotel's concierge, who seemed confused by the outdated technology request, but managed to find one. When they connected it to the TV and inserted the tape, the screen showed a grainy image of what appeared to be a locker room. Danny Teller sat on a bench, head in his hands. A man approached him, a man who looked like a sports agent. Money changed. Hands. You did good, the agent said. Nobody will suspect anything. You looked just good enough to be considered, but just bad enough to get cut. Danny took the money, but didn't look happy. This feels wrong. I could have made the team. Maybe, the agent shrugged. But this way, you get paid either way. The guys who bet against you are happy, and you've got cash in hand. There was more conversation, with Danny expressing regret, and the agent reassuring him he'd get another shot somewhere else. The tape ended. Michael sat back, processing what he'd seen. He threw his own tryout, Michael said quietly. Just like Raymond said. But this proves it beyond any doubt, Marcus agreed. And there's more in the box. They found letters between Danny and several gamblers, proving he was working with them to throw his Bulls tryout. The gamblers had bet significant amounts of money against him making the team. He lied to his brother, Michael said. All these years, Raymond thought I ruined Danny's career. But Danny ruined it himself. What do we do with this? Marcus asked, gesturing to the box. Michael was quiet for a long time, thinking. This evidence would completely clear his name if there were any lingering doubts. It would prove beyond question that Danny Teller had sabotaged his own career, not Michael Jordan. But it would also destroy whatever memory Raymond had of his brother. Even though Raymond was gone, it felt wrong to tarnish Danny's memory publicly. Wahid should give this to Agent Nichols, Marcus suggested. It's evidence of sports gambling. The crimes happened almost 30 years ago, Michael pointed out. Everyone involved is probably gone or untraceable now. He picked up the tape, turning it over in his hands. This doesn't need to become public. Danny paid for his mistakes with his life. His brother paid with his. It's over. So what do we do with it? Michael thought for a moment longer. We destroy it. All of it. Nobody needs to know. Are you sure? Marcus asked. This proves you had nothing to do with Danny's failed tryout. I know the truth, Michael said simply. That's enough for me. That evening, they burned the letters in the hotel room's bathroom sink. The tape they destroyed by pulling out the film and cutting it into pieces. When they were done, nothing remained of Danny Teller's betrayal, except in Michael's and Marcus's memories. As they flew back to Charlotte the next day, Michael looked out the plane window at the clouds below. He thought about the Teller brothers, Danny, who had thrown away his chance at greatness for gambling money, And Raymond, who had spent his final days seeking revenge for a wrong that never happened. It was a sad story, a story about lies and their consequences, about how one bad decision could echo through years and affect so many lives. But it was over now. Michael had faced the challenge and emerged stronger. His reputation was intact. His new foundation was helping children who truly needed it. Something good had come from something bad. When they landed in Charlotte, a reporter was waiting at the gate, having somehow learned that Michael had made a quick trip to Chicago. "Mr. Jordan," she called out, "is your trip related to the charity scandal?" Michael paused, thinking about the box they had found and destroyed, about the truth that would remain forever private. "No," he said with a small smile. "Some things are in the past now. I'm focused on the future." And with that, he walked on, leaving the last echoes of the scandal behind him. I hope you enjoyed this journey of betrayal, determination, and ultimately, redemption. Where are you listening from today? I'd love to know which part of the world this story reached. Drop your location in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. For more inspiring and thought-provoking content just like this, we post new stories every week that aim to entertain while sharing valuable life lessons. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. By spreading these stories, you're helping create more awareness about integrity and doing what's right, even when faced with difficult challenges. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.